What's going on, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I'm going to say something. It doesn't have to happen. It's not necessarily me making a declaration or saying that this team, I see them, they are the team. Well, I'm looking at the landscape and I'm just getting a vibe. And I just got a weird feeling that the Chicago Bulls can be the team that comes out of the Eastern Conference this year. They can be in the finals. I watched the sequence yesterday with Alex Caruso locking somebody up. I don't know exactly who it was he was locking up there, but the shot clock ran out. He blocked the shot. He just played some of the best on-ball defense you'll see. His game is continuing to grow. I think of them as a team that's continuing to get healthy because they still have players coming back. I look at Kobe White as a big player off of their bench who hasn't even been worked into the equation yet. And by the end of the season, I expect him to be somebody who's averaging like 15 points, mostly three-point shots. He's going to be such a weapon when he gets his conditioning going, and it's still early enough for him to do that. I look at the other pieces. They're getting the most out of Derrick Jones. They're getting great things out of the young fella, Ayo. So you got to take that into account, the fact that their bench is strong now. You know what I mean? They just got so many different things that you like. Alize Johnson's a terrific rebounder. So that's like a specialist that they have, making sure that they always have boards at all times. Lonzo's a terrific boards guy. So I look at them, I'm mentioning boards because I do look at them as an undersized team as it pertains to that 4 spot. But then I look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference and I say most of the teams are constructed the same way. Miami kind of has a short power forward situation. Milwaukee has Giannis playing the 4 and the 5, rotating and all of that. They do have some size there, but like some of the teams there in the Eastern Conference, they're constructed in such a way to where you can get away with it. I just feel like with Vucevic, he's starting to find his rhythm. Hopefully he can stay healthy all season long and keep his conditioning up to where it needs to be. He flows very well in terms of his style of play because he's a fluid player who can shoot and pass and do different things. Plays well, so long as the pace isn't too fast for him. But they have a lot of good things that they can find defensively, whether they go big or small, which is what I like about them. They are a diverse team, and they're not old. You know, I look at the Miami Heat, and I say they're constructed the same way, but they're older in some areas, some key areas. And this is the theme with the year that the NBA is having. It's just, you know, age is not really, it's not the way to go right now. You want to have youthful legs. You want to be able to keep up with the speed that's everywhere, basically. And the Bulls have it. They have an ability to score the ball with DeRozan and Zach LaVine, who are automatic buckets at all times. So I'm never worried about them as it pertains to being an offensive team because of those two players plus the unselfishness of Alonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, and their propensity to both rebound the ball, handle the ball, score the ball, shoot the ball. I mean, that's the thing. It's like even when these two terrific scorers who happen to be having career years in that offense, even when they sit down, you still have lineups that you have to deal with that are basically going to be able to compete with your starting lineup. You know, when you consider some of the players that they have on that bench, coupled with, as I said, Vucevic, who can be on the floor with Lonzo and Caruso, and you could put an Ayo on the floor, you could put an Alize on the floor, you could put a Kobe on the floor, and you still have lineups that allow Zach LaVine to sit down and chill, that allow DeMar DeRozan to take a game off. The team's deep, and they're deep in ways that are like next man up because they all fit and they all slot in as good players. And mind you this, it's very unfortunate they got Patrick Williams out because that's a whole nother piece right there that you're not even considering that you're going to think about going forward as this team goes forward in the future. So I just love the Chicago Bulls team. Maybe I'm biased because obviously I'm a fan of the players on the team, but I just love how they're constructed. And they're only going to get better. Like I said, that Kobe White piece is massive because I know what he can do. And I just understand that it's about conditioning for him at this point. He's coming back from injury. But he's never fit on the teams that he's been on in the past. And I just know that he's a microwave player. So it's like, even when, again, all of those players are sitting down, you still can have a lineup with like Caruso and Kobe White and, say, again, Vucevic, and they're running. Or what's my guy's name? Bradley, who's starting to come into his own as a center as well. So he's productive as well, even when Vucevic isn't healthy. Now you got to deal with the 7-footer Bradley. I really like this team, man. I like what they got. And I just say they're going to have to deal with some size. You know what I mean? That's my concern for the Bulls. As the playoffs approaches, how are they going to deal with Giannis? How are they going to deal with Bam? Those are the matchups that concern me. That's where they can really end up getting beat. But if Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan continue to attack, they have a wonderful ability to attack key areas on the floor for the defense to have to account for all the time. What I'm saying to you is this: Zach LaVine, perimeter specialist. Lonzo's starting to turn into his perimeter specialist. Kobe White, again, perimeter specialist. Now, DeMar DeRozan, mid-range specialist. Patrick Williams, mid-range specialist. You see what I'm saying? They have other players that do other things, and then they got players that specialize in the paint. Alizé, he's a paint guy. Vucevic, more so a paint guy, but can shoot as well. So in other words, you are rushing at them no matter where they are on the floor. DeMar DeRozan, you have to account for his three-point shot, even though that's not his thing. He can hit it. So you are constantly scrambling around, trying to account for all of the different places that they can attack you from. And DeMar DeRozan is such a specialist as it pertains to closing out the games, that I think that he plays off of Zach LaVine so well, to where you're going to focus so much attention on Zach LaVine, and you're going to forget that DeMar DeRozan's over there killing you. And then you got to understand, Lonzo Ball is down there to exploit whatever it is you decide to do. So the decision you make to take away DeMar DeRozan, it's his job to make sure that Zach LaVine gets the ball. If you decide to take away Vucevic, Lonzo Ball is going to make sure that the game on the perimeter and in the fast break is playing at a pace that's crazy. And he's locking up your guard. And he has Caruso, who basically does the exact same thing, giving him spells, allowing him to rest, allowing him to get into foul trouble, and the team still playing well, still having that playmaking ability on the floor. You're dealing with two Lonzo Balls, because Caruso and Lonzo Ball are basically the same player. This is a dynamic that, to me, is going to be very difficult to deal with in the playoffs. Teams like Boston, they're going to have players like Marcus Smart. They're going to have to play hard to beat this team. They're going to have to really dig in and sit in a chair to deal with the balance of defense and offense that the Bulls provide. A team like Miami, those older guys, they're going to have to deal with this team for 7 straight games. And I think it could go 7 games if Miami and Chicago play one another. I think that's a 7-game series. But I look and I say, man, is Kyle Lowry going to make it through that? Is Jimmy going to make it through that? Like, they're older. It's going to be a lot on a guy like Tyler Hero and guys like, Oladipo, Duncan Robinson. They're going to have to hit their shots. They're going to have to be sharp defensively. They're going to have to, it's going to be on a guy like Tyler Hero to continue firing things up. I look at a team like Charlotte. I think they'll be around. I think they'll be around. It's going to be on a guy like Scary Terry to play hard if he goes up against Chicago. Obviously, Lonzo and LaMelo, we'd love to see that. Just like we saw last night. That's a matchup you'd love to see. So I think, obviously Chicago's going to have a lot of competition in the East. The East is hardcore. And as we mentioned last night in a different video, if Kyrie Irving does come back, I think the Nets are still going to win the championship. Even with all that's going on, including the Warriors and the Suns, I think that Kyrie dynamic, coupled with Harden and a healthy KD, that trio is still too much. It's still too much. I'm telling you that I still believe that, but I don't see no path to Kyrie coming back. Do you see that? I don't see that. I look at the Philadelphia 76er team. They're very dangerous. They're starting to find themselves in their identity without Ben Simmons. I think their ability to make a trade for Ben Simmons that makes sense for them that increases, I think, as this continues to play out, based on what the reports have been, with Ben Simmons' finances being in question or whatever. Who knows if that's true or not? But the point is, the pressure's still being applied, and money is coming out of his pocket. So I can totally see them having better deals going forward, possibly coming their way, based on different things that are going on around the league. So it looks like Philly may be in the mix as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the finals too. That's basically what all I just said was about. So, hey, I'm not picking a team, but I'm just telling you that my gut at this stage in the season is telling me pay a very close attention to the Chicago Bulls, because they have a dynamic that is going to be very difficult to deal with in a 7-game series for anybody, because of those guards and because of that scoring ability that they have. So I would like to see them make a trade to get a bigger player at that power forward position. Just one more guy that can get in that rotation at center and power forward that can keep up with that speed. Man, I would love for them. I would love for them to get their hands on Bol. That's who I want Chicago to get. I'm going to get him out of Denver since they're not using him, and let him run as one of those positionless players out there with Lonzo Ball and those guys, because his perimeter ability, that shooting ability, you see what's going on with Markkanen over in Cleveland, I think he can play that role in a different situation. That's kind of how I see Bol right now, even though, you'd love to see him have the ball in his hands as well, since he has guard skills. I think I would love to take advantage of that three-point shot ability that he has. He puts the ball up so high when he shoots it, and he shoots it at a high clip or high efficiency from what I've seen. So I look at Bol and I say, man, he would slot right in Chicago so perfectly, play a little 4 for them in them lineups, and they would never lose. They would literally never lose. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about. But anyway, yeah, Chicago fans, stand up. It's been a long time coming. It's very funny to me hearing Chicago fans talk about how they don't get attention, because I grew up in the 90s, and I understand why you guys don't get any attention. It's because you got all of the attention in the 90s, and nobody wants to hear anything about the Bulls again. But it is what it is, man. Derrick Rose and that era trying to change that for us, and it's just good to see y'all running for real, and hopefully you guys have some success and stay healthy. So that's what I got. My name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.